Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Mike Armstrong podcast show. And today I'm joined by Marion Galvin, who's a career change coach based in Southampton, but formerly from Ireland. How are you doing today, Marion? You okay?
Good, Mike. How are you?
Yes, I'm very well, thank you. Very well. Yes, I've been enjoying the sunny weather the last couple of days. It's been a change from the few weeks before that.
Oh, absolutely. It seems to be nice, all right. I believe it's nice in Ireland as well.
How
So
is
we're
it?
all happy.
Oh, fair enough, fair enough. And how are things for you at the moment? Is work busy or quiet at the moment?
My work is quiet enough. I'm on 20 hours a week because of what we do. So it's more the funding that we don't have. So it's given me an opportunity to look at other things that I want to pursue. So time is never wasted anyway.
Yeah, okay, good. And obviously, I started my podcast and the YouTube channel all within lockdown, and obviously, that's the thing that's topical for most businesses at the time. So I always start by asking people, how has the lockdown been for them, and have they done any pivoting in their business or in their life during that time?
Yeah, I started lockdown, and I suppose I was at an advantage in a way because I worked for United Nations before in Cyprus. So I went over there on my own. So I was separated from family and friends and all that, and went over to a country I knew nobody, couldn't speak the language. So when lockdown started, I wasn't as anxious as a lot of people because I've been in that situation where I lived on my own and I entertained myself. I could move about the country as I was there, but initially it was the isolation away from no family, no friends, the time zones. There was none of the European. There was still the roaming charges, so you had to be limited on your conversations to home. You couldn't just have the old chit chats like you would now, which is great. So yeah, I took lockdown and I decided, will I get fit or fat? So I decided I'd get fit was one thing. So I decided I'd try the couch to, I've done the couch to 5K. So I said I'd go from the 5 to 10K and try that. And I said, I'll try and exercise 5 days a week, 6 days a week. And that's what I've been doing. Every second day I run either a 5K and I do a 10K at the weekend. Set myself the 100K challenge this month. So I'm 15 kilometers off that. For me, I never ran in my life. So that was an obstacle that I had overcome. And it's one of those things, if you can overcome one obstacle, you can overcome other obstacles. It's just about putting the mindset in.
Yeah.
So the other days I go on YouTube and I have my little YouTube videos I watch, and it keeps me fit. It's for mental health as well as physical health. And I think it's something you control, even though we couldn't control our days. We didn't know what was happening with work or anything like that. So having that exercise it was a control as well. It's something you could control every day, and it got you fit. So that was one. And then I was introduced to the Outstanding Network earlier on, and that's been an absolute lifesaver as well. I had set up a business before, it didn't get going for different reasons, and this time it's just I've met so many positive, like-minded people that I have decided that I'm going to get back into what I had been wanting to do, was get into coaching. But this is coaching of changing careers. I changed career in about 5 years ago, and I went from a completely different work environment and a completely different country. Um, and a lot of people wouldn't take that chance and start again. But sometimes, when you when you got to the point where you can't see how you can get any further on with what you're doing, it's time to decide: do I stay with it, put up with it, or do I get going again? So I just decided that I had enough. I wanted to change careers. I wanted to try something new. So I went back into education while I was working. So that was a challenge in itself because I hadn't studied in 20 years. And there was no one out there really to get the guidance off into how you go about even the simple things, PowerPoint presentations and things like that. So I do help people with all that. So that's one thing I will be looking at in the future, about helping people. I have a package together to help people get go into college, university, or courses that haven't been in education or haven't been for years, and just to get to the basics of how you go back into college. And once you get over the initial apprehension of it and get into it, you find you're not the only person in that boat. Everyone else in the class is usually the same. So it's just decide, just make that leap. And then changing careers, then I decided I'd put a time on it and get as much courses under my belt. But as someone said, once you start doing courses and things, you get addicted. It's like exercise. It's as addictive as exercise. So yeah, that's what I was doing. And one of the courses I did coaching. So but during this I was doing a lot of personal development. So I got introduced to the world of personal development. And I don't think I ever would have moved career if I hadn't have been doing personal development. And I think being around positive, like-minded people like yourself, Mike, and everyone else, that's how you end up believing in yourself that you can change. And sometimes you have to say goodbye to some people in order to do that.
Yeah. You got to surround yourself with people who are on the same journey as you, really. Otherwise, people hold you back or pull you back.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Because people don't want to see people changing, because that they might then decide, oh, I should change as well. But it's quite funny. A lot of people, after I decided to change what I was doing, actually decided to do the same. To give their lifestyle for whatever reasons they wanted to change. Because the job I was in was 30-year. I could do 30 years in it. So it wasn't that I had a secure pensionable state job, and I could have stayed there, but I decided life was too short. And as you say, my health is my wealth. I think another thing that got me through a lot was the Robert Frost poem, The Road Less Travelled. There was a couple of lines in it I used to say to myself on a daily basis, just to keep going. And there's this 2 roads diverge in a little wood, and I took a road less travelled, and that made all the difference. I know I varied it a bit from the original, but that was my mantra every day, and that was what kept me going. Just to say, you are right in changing careers, and I want to be there to help people do that. I remember I went to a coach, a career coach, and I was in, will I go, will I stay, will I continue what I'm doing? I've done all the course and all that. Will I take that big step? And I remember walking out of that 2-hour coaching session, and I was elated. I knew I was making the right decision. I knew this is what I wanted. But it's until you meet that person that sits there, and coaching wasn't something I'd ever done before that. And I was like, man, this is great. This is reiterating I'm doing the right thing. So I decided I'll do a coaching course then, as part of, because I'm in HR now, and it's one of those areas that I use it, but I don't use I use it for helping people in work. And I just want people to have that feeling I had when I walked out of that session and knew that I was making the right decision.
Yeah. Well, some people are born to be leaders, if you like, and some people are born to be followers. And I think if you're born to be a leader, if you want more out of life than just being average and just, fitting in with the crowd and doing what everyone else does, but not actually going after your own goals or dreams or ambitions, then you can do a 30, 40-year career these days. And yeah, you don't really need or want much more out of life than that. But there's a certain type of character, I think, and sometimes you don't start off like that character, but sometimes doing something like leaving home and going to work away makes you strong enough to actually believe that you can then go and do something and chase your own goals and your own dreams, because only when you get a taste of something sometimes do you want more of it. So that's, and it's only when you sometimes see that you are capable of doing things outside of that average or the norm, that you then can say, okay, I'm going to set my mind for that thing that has always been ticking around in the back of my brain. I've wanted to do it, but I never really felt that I had the energy or the belief to do it. But now all of a sudden, I've grown into the person through experience or through personal development. So I've either grown through the experience or I've grown through the knowledge, and I'm now able to go and implement that into the thing I always wanted to do, but never really believed in myself that I could do it.
Yeah, it's like when you can't drive, and you see people driving, and you're in a car as a child or whatever, and you're thinking, wow, how do they drive? and your first time going for your lesson, you're apprehensive and that, and you go for your lessons, and after time, you know, you get used to the driving, and now you just get into a car and you don't think about it. And it's the same. You can get into a job and stay in that job, and you're apprehensive at the start, but you're excited. But you know, the excitement can stay for a certain length of time, and then, as you said, Mike, some people will just stay happy what they're doing, and that's absolutely fine. That some people love that. That's absolutely fine. And then sometimes you just get to a point and you say, I need to change. This is not for me anymore. Life changes. You change with life. And sometimes it's just because the role you were doing is no longer available. You know, there's a lot of redundancies at the moment. There's a lot of you know, restructures at the moment, and it's a good opportunity for people to decide to reevaluate and say, right, do I want to stay what I'm doing, or do I want to change? Do I want to improve so I can get to the next level? You know, or what do I need to do to continue or to change, or, you know, do something like that? And this is where I would come in helping people, you know, identify what is it they really want to do, what gets you out of bed in the morning and gets you excited. Because you have to be excited to go to work, or you have to be excited to do what you're doing, or, you know, it does play on you after a while. You do spend a lot of your time working, so it has to be something you enjoy.
Yeah.
There's always a percentage of that you can't enjoy, because that's just
Life.
life.
That's
We
right.
should
Yeah.
enjoy most of it.
You've only got one life, and if you spend most of it doing things you don't enjoy, then you're going to get to
Yeah.
the end of it with regrets.
Yeah. You know, you want to leave a legacy behind as well. You know, you want to say, you know, well, I helped people, you know, that changed their life. I mean, I was on shift work. I worked weekends. I had 1.5 weekends off a month. You know, I had to stay on at whatever length of time needs to be stayed on. I don't work weekends now, and I don't work week evenings, you know, and my health is better because I'm going to bed at the same time and getting up at the same time, and my eating habits are better. So that was another choice. You know, do I stay at what I was doing, or do I change and be around different people? And, you know, I mean, I did a bigger step. I moved country, you
Yeah.
know, but now I have the opportunities to move wherever I like because I did that. You know, I don't have to stay in any place. And you know, by being a person that's gone through the whole change, and that, you know, into the late 30s, early 40s, I know what it's like from a personal perspective, from a career perspective, from, you know, the apprehension, the anticipation of, am I doing the right thing? You know, and if you know yourself you're not happy doing what you're doing, you need to find the people around you that will say, yes, you are doing the right thing. And it mightn't be everyone you're around at the moment. And that's why meeting other people, like we've met Mike, you know, over COVID, as other people, we've all realized we can help each other in one way or another, you know, which that wouldn't have happened only for COVID, because we wouldn't have been in a position where we're doing, you know, online Zooms, you know, at 3:30 on a Tuesday afternoon.
Right, yeah, but you know, wherever you go and find those people, going and seeking out personal development, going and seeking out, you know, like-minded people in a network, or whatever, all of those things can help. You know,
Yeah.
if people are thinking and itching, you know, and they're thinking about, actually, is this career for me forever, or is it now the right time to make a change, or, you know, I've now been forced into making a change. But, you know, what do I do with that situation? Do I use it to my advantage, or do I, you know, moan about it forever and go on the dole? You know, they're choices people have, and if you go out and seek other people, and people who are, you know, similar minded, etc., then yes, you know, you get the energy and the you know, the extra sort of impetus, really, to actually go and do something, because you get the strength of energy from the other people who are looking to do similar things.
Oh, absolutely. It becomes it becomes a kind of it's a good feel good factor. You're around other people. You know, you can't be negative if you're around positive people all the time, because they build you up, and you remind you that you're doing the right thing as well. And it's an awful pity that personal development wasn't taught to us at school.
Yes, yeah,
You know,
I can't believe things like, you know, success training, personal development, sales, marketing, listening skills, you know, goal setting, lots of things which, if you like, are what make people successful and not
yeah,
successful. I don't know why they're all not taught in school, you know, unless unless school was decided a long time ago to be something that just produced workers, and so they don't, they basically like, well, we need a load of workers, and the ones who aren't workers, they'll work this stuff out for themselves, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody has put that system in place, or maybe it's just happened like that. I don't really know, but I think there's a lot of stuff that you listen to personal developers and coaches and successful people and all sorts, and I think, well, why isn't this stuff taught in school?
Yeah. I had that discussion with my sister earlier on today, and we were saying if only we had been taught all about personal development and less about religion maybe in school, we would have, your teenage years would have been different, your 20s would have been different, because you'd have overcome obstacles with a different mindset. I mean, even looking at emotional intelligence, and if someone upsets you, instead of just reacting on with the emotions, which is the first thing you do, is emotions, and then your logic comes after. You only know that from doing personal development.
Yeah.
You mightn't give the answer straight away to that person, because you're thinking, I need to get the logic into this and then respond to them and think about why are they asking this way or that way. And I think it would cause a lot less conflict in work and at home if people kind of went,
in most situations, really.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like with these big things that are going on at the moment, like the Black Lives Matter and the positive coronavirus people versus the negative, that go out and go in. I think personal development as well teaches you that there's lots of different ways of doing things, and there's different people have different opinions and stuff, and rather than it be a them versus us and a one side versus the other and whatever, then sometimes it's just about, well, we all have different opinions, and no one's right or wrong. And sometimes you just got to work your way through it as best for both sides.
Yeah.
And
I think as well, I mean, with being around positive, like-minded people, and even though we all have different businesses or different, different but similar in some ways, you're not taking business off anyone. You're supporting each other. You're collaboratively working. So if I'm coaching someone and I think actually they need life coaching, or they need NLP coaching, or they need counseling, well, then I'm going to stop and say to them, have you thought about maybe going to this first, because that might be the way to go at the moment. And like what you're doing, Mike, with the different things of podcasts and stuff, you're opening us up to the world of podcasts, because that's not something that I would have done before. And we all kind of work together to collaborate, make it better for everyone, because at the end of the day, it's everyone it's business, but it's also people trying to make the world a better place and people around it a better place by making people more educated on what's out there as well, and personal development, I suppose, as well.
So many people have a sort of mentality of, if you've got something, then that stops me from having it, when really everybody can have it. Nobody really, you don't have to have one thing. If somebody's got one thing, it doesn't mean it stops somebody else having that thing. It's just like in a debate. You don't have to be right for someone else to be wrong, or vice versa. You could both be right, because it's just different perspectives or points of view. So
Absolutely.
I think the personal development space teaches people a lot more, around that, about being respectful of other people and other people's opinions, etc.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, what actually got you towards the personal development space? Was there something you just dabbled with a bit and then got really into?
I joined a multi-level marketing and network marketing company, and as all network marketing companies have, they have personal development training as part of it. And it was going through the trainings of that, and meeting people through that. And then there was an ambassador program of that, which was about leadership. So I've been doing that, and it's just going to it and actually seeing a different perspective on life and meeting positive people. I mean, when I first met everyone and people are high-fiving people and hugging each other, I'm going, whoa, this is a bit strange. But actually, you get used to it, and you embraced it, and you saw the logic of it, and people were there to help each other, and there was no one criticizing everyone, and everyone was there. It's a business, but everyone was working together. It wasn't, no one was competing, because there's billions of people in the world. There's plenty of for everybody. So I got into the personal development from going through a network marketing, and then at the same time I was
the popular route now. The network
it is a popular route.
Is a popular route into personal development.
Absolutely. And then I was after returning from working for United Nations, I was back in my old job, and I was doing my qualifications in human resource management, and then I did a HDIP in business management, and then I decided that then I met the coach, and I did the trainer, I did qualifications in coaching, other things like that, while doing personal development, and the whole lot collaboratively together was, well, I've got I've got the paper skills. I know I've got the soft skills because of my previous career, and I knew the personal development was that extra added, the cream on the top that just really
Sauce, really, extra sauce
yeah,
which can help whatever you're coaching. They're all skill sets that you can use to improve people in whatever way, because it's personal development. And if people improve, sometimes they
yeah,
need to improve in order to learn what it is you're trying to teach them anyway.
yeah. And there's so many great quotes and great comments by different, my mirror has written quotes on it. I've got pictures, and I've written quotes on it, and not the picture's just not a picture, it's got quotes in it, and you can have your house full of them, and you're walking around, and while you're boiling the kettle, you've written a quote or a poem or something down, and just
Yeah,
it can change your mindset for the day. And I was recently started doing the hour of power in the morning, so getting up that hour extra in the morning and just focusing it completely on what me and my day and what I was going to do, and
affirmations
just
and gratitude and all that sort of stuff.
yes, doing my affirmations, gratitude, reading a bit of a book, positivity book, writing out what was I going to do with my day, including my hours of work outside of work. What was I going to do that was going to change my day, my outset for moving forward.
Yeah.
And I discussed that with my sister this morning, and today, and she's on her holidays for the summer, and she's like, I'm fine, the day goes on, and the next thing it's 10 o'clock in the morning, it's 11. My routine is completely gone while I'm not working. And I said, look, get up early again, get your hour of power in, and let that hour be your hour of focus, and write down what you want to do for the day and set it out. And she goes, that's what I'm going to do. That sounds really good. And I said, you're getting the affirmations in, you're getting a bit of a book in. And then if you want to exercise or yoga, whatever you want to do in the morning, at least you can say, I've done something for me.
Yeah.
And then you can focus on whatever else you have to do that day. And I think with that kind of sets you up in the right way for the day.
I got
as
a
opposed to
yeah, I got a good idea which I learned in personal development recently, and I've done. I actually haven't got to play it yet, but I've recorded it, and I'm going to start playing. It's about getting into habits, isn't it, with these things a lot of the time. But if you film a video of yourself selling yourself to yourself, yeah. So if you film a video and actually highlight all the good things about you, so if you was the product, if you was okay, this is the person you're selling. What are the great features and benefits, if you like, and what are the great attributes and great successes, etc. And actually, if you wake up every day and play that to yourself, then it builds you up. It builds your self-confidence in your inner belief, etc. And also, you can play it before you go and do big meetings or big sales calls or wherever, and you just remind yourself of how awesome you are, which will help you be, a top form,
That sounds very good, actually. And I think it takes a while to get used to hearing your own voice as well. Because I'm in amateur dramatics, and my way of learning my lines is to record my lines on my phone. So when I'm driving, my phone is playing my lines in the car. And this is because you have to maximize your time in the car. You're either listening to audibles, or when I'm doing a play, I learn it off that way. And it is strange listening to your own voice, but I get, that alone will reiterate it to the point that you can do it off by heart and be on stage. So what you're saying, Mike, about doing that every day, that belief, that'll become such an ingrained habit. It will you just talk it the whole time. You don't even have to play it anymore. It's like writing out your affirmations and saying them every day. It's the same as saying my name is.
Yeah, with the video, you can put your gratitudes and your affirmations on first and then sell yourself to yourself. So you actually create one sort of like 10, 15-minute video or something and actually just play it all every day. So that's the strategy that I've done now. I put my gratitudes in and my affirmations in, and then I've done sell myself to myself sort of thing. And I'm pretty full of self-confidence and self-belief, and I wake up motivated every day because I've got a big mission that I'm on a mission to achieve, if you like. So if you listen to Grant Cardone, 10X thinking, Grant Cardone says, make your goal, make your dream, make your ambition so big that it excites you to want to do it so much, And so that's why I wake up motivated every morning, and I break everything down into my big goal. What are the things I need to achieve to get to that goal? And then what are the actions I got to take every day to get to those medium goals in order for those things to help me get to the big goal? So break
It's like
everything
the mouse. The mouse doesn't eat an elephant in one go. He eats it bit by bit.
bit by bit, and if you set yourself tasks and activities every
Yeah.
day, and you set yourself targets and you hit those targets, that make you feel good as well. So I'm all about psychology and how you can manipulate yourself, if you like, to go off and do those things. It's like people who are in relationships. Sometimes people in a relationship, they respond better because they need somebody else there all the time
Yeah.
to do things, like, and you can manipulate yourself to do those things by putting yourself in the right mindset, giving yourself the right goals, push yourself then into having to take those actions, like.
Sorry, my battery was going dead.
So yeah, it's always interesting to find. I love the personal development space. I think, like you, I've been a lifelong learner, and it sounds to me like you're willing to embrace change because you've been on a lot of courses, etc., which is part of HR and part of the job, if you like. And I've been on loads of sales management courses and training and that sort of thing. And I think most people don't learn once they finish leaving school, but
No.
there's so much you can learn, and once you start embracing that and realizing what is out there to learn, then that's the journey I got into personal development, is just through an appetite to wanting to keep learning.
They also say that because we've gone from the industrial age to the more knowledge based, you have to keep up with continuous personal development, with learning and that as well. But they say that on average, because I know in the UK there's no retirement age anymore. I know in Ireland it's 66 at the moment. There's a debate on it, but they reckon you can change careers 5 times in your lifetime. And if you think about it, if you were to even add in the first few years of your life, how many career changes we've all had, and they're all been different. But it's like everything. You don't take a job with you. You take the skills you learn from each one and bring it to the next. And sometimes people wonder how one job can complement the next career you go into. I mean, I started off as in retail, and as a teenager, I was a financial analyst for a couple of years. I was in the Irish police force for 17 years, and I'm in HR now, and I've worked in all 3 sectors. So, I've worked in different industries within the sectors. And now I'm looking at coaching people. So I have a broad range of understanding all the different sectors and different things. And sometimes people say to you, how can you go from being a Garda police into HR? It's all people. It's all, you're dealing with people. And that's what personal development's about. It's dealing with understanding yourself and understanding other people. So it's the service, it's dealing with people, it's how you deal with people and how you react to people. And then if you reacted positively with people, people usually will respond back to you in that positive way. There's always going to be a few that won't originally, but the outcome will be better because you're both not in a red mist state.
No.
And that all comes with personal development. And personal development doesn't stop because you did it for a couple of years. You have to continue it on. And there's always a golden nugget from someone, isn't there?
That's right. Yeah. You always pick up. Until I met the guy I see as my blueprint, as my inspiration, which is Grant Cardone, which I met in 2017. Until then, I met loads of top entrepreneurs all over the place, but I never ever took much more than one bit of gold. But you can always take a bit of gold off everybody. Everybody's got something really interesting to teach you or tell you or show you or whatever. And if you're willing to find out what that is, then you'll walk away with a bag of gold. And if you keep building that bag of gold, it turns you into a much better person because you've got a bag of gold. You've got loads of things that can help you in loads of situations. And that's why I think a lot of people who keep learning that gold, or in the end find a mentor who can really give them loads of gold, that's what then turns those people into wanting to be coaches and that sort of thing. Because once you've got so much information and so much value off other people, at some point you decide, well, let's give a bit back.
Yeah. There's a lot of different people out there. I mean, helping in different ways. I mean, the way I'm looking at it is as I said earlier, I've been in the 3 sectors. I've worked in different backgrounds. I have understanding of different aspects. I mean, even the 17 years I spent in the police, I was speaking to people every day that did different jobs and that. So you got an understanding of how people worked as well, and emotions, and, you know, and you're dealing with different things. But, you know, like when COVID happened, I knew people were going to react differently. And some people, you know, like they got fit, they got into that, and other people didn't. And, you know, everyone has their challenges over it. I mean, you can't not. I mean, I can't get to Ireland to visit my family and friends, and I don't know when I can get over. I haven't seen most of them since Christmas. And, you know, this is a sacrifice we all take, but luckily we have Zoom. And luckily, you find things
My mum lives
during
in
the time.
Turkey, so, you know, she moved to Turkey about 6 years ago, so I haven't seen a lot of her. You know, she comes back.
Oh,
But, you know, you just get used to these things, don't you? You know,
you do.
you know, Zoom is great. Like you say, I can FaceTime and Zoom and that sort of thing. It's not the same as seeing, but I know at some point when there's an event in Ireland, probably we'll catch a lift over together or something.
Oh, we will, yeah. I'll pick you up. You have a car. You have a seat in my car already. We just need to know the date off pat now. We'll be laughing.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I know there's one planned for the 1st of December. I don't know if there's one planned before then, but you know, my guess is there may well be something September, October time, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know it, because I think at the moment they haven't opened up the next stage in Ireland of the lockdown. They've curved it back, so they're going to review it every 2 weeks. So it's not as forward on as planned. So because I think the last phase was supposed to be the 20th of August, but I think it'll pull back a bit. But I think once the schools go back in September, then we'll start really seeing it, because there'll be more people. You know, the schools, I think the big thing is the schools going back. You know, if we can get the kids back into the schools and get a routine there, because, you know, education is so important, you know, and they're missing out on their friends and, you know, that social interaction. And I think one other thing I noticed about lockdown is that people are more friendly to each other as strangers now, and neighbourly and more community since lockdown, you know.
Similar to the war, similar to the war generation. I think the British people needed this. I actually think it was, you know, so whether you believe in the universal things happen for a reason, or Mother Nature or whatever, I'm a big believer in that sort of thing. And, you know, maybe things do happen for a reason. And I think, you know, usually things happen in secular as well. Things do happen in cycles, and, you know, maybe so this outbreak happened because people needed to, you know, start reassessing and reevaluating what is important in life.
Because if you think about it, I mean, when years ago people went to work and they came home, and then they cooked and they did something, or maybe they exercised because they had to walk somewhere because people didn't have cars, whatever, or stuff like that. But people weren't bombarded with so much multimedia and stuff like that. But now it's got to the stage that the work-life balance is completely off kilter, and people, you get into the rat race. And this kind of stopped everything. When, hold on, I'm not spending an hour and a half each side of the day on a commute. I can get so much done in that hour and a half each side. I can exercise one side of it. I can do, you know, personal development. I can read, and maybe I can spend more time with my family, you know, and that, you know, you can sit down, and I'd imagine people are having dinners as a family now. And that has to be causing, you know, more chats. Okay, there'll be disagreements because that's life, but at least everyone's communicating more, and people are talking to their neighbours. And the 8 o'clock clap on a Thursday night, I do miss it, because you're not getting to see all the neighbours. And I have a lot of elderly neighbours, so the only people they were seeing through all of this was whoever was out at 8 o'clock on a Thursday night.
Chat across the street and whatever.
Yeah. I put a you know, notes in all their envelopes saying, if you need me to get it in the shop for you, you know, right, here's my number, give me a message or a ring and I'll get it for you, because they were all in quarantine. They were all, because they're older, they couldn't leave. And, you know, that kind of brought back, well, I was brought up in that kind of community in Ireland, because it's still quite prevalent.
Still a bit, it's more community focused than city, you know, than just pure city focus, where people don't speak to each other and stuff. You know, even Cardiff, which is a city, same as I would imagine Dublin and Belfast. I've been to both of those cities. Irish people, the Celts, the Welsh, they like to talk to each other when they're on the bus stop or they're on the bus or they're in the shop queue or whatever. They like to talk to each other, and that keeps that community spirit going,
Yeah.
which you don't get
Oh,
so.
people just randomly talk to each other. Yeah, yeah.
In the southeast of England, especially, you don't get that. You do get that still in the north of England, and I
Yeah.
think in Ireland, Wales, and Scotland, where the Celts are, you still get that. But I think in England, in the southeast especially, it dies away a bit more.
I've noticed a big difference now since lockdown, because I go for a jog around and people wave at you more, and people, excuse me, thank you, that kind of way. And, you might say, oh, lovely day, or you might see someone walking on their own. And I think 99.9% of people have responded in some way, and
Yeah.
I think it'll be good for everybody. Because you don't know, is that person you just said hello to the only person?
Yeah. Looks like we've lost the Wi-Fi. Are you going to be coming back, Marion? So yes, a bit of a pause on the Wi-Fi at the moment. Let's have a look and see if Marion's coming back.
Yeah.
Are you there again? Is the screen still frozen? Right. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, I was just about to put it on pause. I was, but yeah, we got you back. You're unfrozen. So you were saying, I think, about the one person who you said hello to, that you might be the only person they speak to that day.
And it might be the only person. I mean, I know from living in Cyprus for 14 months that obviously I couldn't speak the language, because I would have had to learn 2 languages when I was there. And my Irish is quite rusty. My German and my French are very rusty, and well, I had no Greek, so I don't think I could really start it that quick. Languages isn't my forte, really. But yeah, just someone saying hello to you when you're on your own, it made a difference. Even if it was just going to the shop just to buy something, or say hello to someone on the street. It doesn't cost anything to be nice anyway.
No.
So, but it makes a difference. It can make a difference,
I actually think it can make you happier, Lucy. So part of my smart happiness formula is random acts of kindness, and doing something kind, even if it's just saying hello to someone or asking how someone is, etc. That's all stuff that makes you feel good at the same time as making them feel good. So if you can create 2 bits of good, out of just something simple as saying, how are you? Or can I help open the door for you? Or can I help carry your pushchair up the stairs or whatever? Something as simple as that. And you're creating 2 bits of positive energy out of nothing.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes you can get up and you can have one of those days where you're just not feeling it. And by even yourself saying hello to someone, it can snap you out of that. Because it is quite easy, especially if you're struggling with any mental health, to get deeper and deeper into the depressive state by not being around people, by just everything is spiraled out of control with you, and it is difficult to bounce back from it. But it is important to just take a step at a time and try and get back in, improve it yourself. But that's where I think personal development comes into it as well. It does help, even if it's just getting on YouTube and watching Arnold Schwarzenegger's motivational speech. If you could sit through that, you're going to get goosebumps in the back of your neck from listening to that. Or Matthew McConaughey's one for school is very good, in a school college is very good. But all those athletics, all those
Denzel Washington as well,
and Denzel Washington as well, and Will Smith.
Yes, well, yeah, there's loads of them. They're great. They're fantastic. I watch a lot of that. And Les Brown.
Yeah, but if you think about it, all the professional athletics, all the sports teams, all the film stars, they all do personal development, because how many times can you get knocked down and get turned away for auditions, or you don't win that race, or you don't make the grade? but they get up and they go again. It's like that song, I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're
My
never going to
favourite
make it.
songs, that is. I think it was a song from, I think my first or my second holiday away when I was a kid.
I
Chumbo-
remember it from the discos. It's like
Chumbo-
Chumbawamba or something like that it was.
Yeah, Chumbawamba, like, you know.
Just that line, I get knocked down, but I get up again. It's
I
like,
love that song.
yeah, it's great song for that, get up again. But none of those people will do. They all have to be doing personal development, because there's no way you can keep going, getting turned down for audition after audition. Losing. It's all part of it. But the more you watch what they say, you can say, actually, they are doing all this. This is how they succeeded. And
I think this is an attitude, which is why you see a lot of the celebrity children becoming celebrities and making it, because they're brought up with that positive mental attitude. And, I'm a massive believer in, if you think you can, you're right. And if you think you can't, you're right.
Yeah.
That's
like the second time I've heard that in 24 hours.
Yeah. But it's one of my favorite sayings, because it's so true. It's all down to your mindset. And, I think, people who are positive and successful breed positive and successful people. And then, if you're brought up thinking you can achieve things, then you will achieve things.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can. You see people there, their children writing books at 7 and 8 years of age, just because they're seeing their parents, doing a lot of personal development and that. And, why wouldn't you if you're around that environment? And why wouldn't other people if, it's a part of education that isn't being done, but it's a perfect opportunity to do it now, because lockdown, my sister now has the kids in front of TED Talks. Yeah. Because I said, it might as well, get more out of it. They're on the farm as well. They're learning how to, calve, and they're like, they're doing different things on farms that they wouldn't be doing in school. But yeah, they're watching TED Talks now. They're doing all that kind of stuff from home. And that's good for them as well, because they'll cope with school better, and they'll cope with the teenage years, and getting into the work life, after that. And if you do it from a young age, even better. It sticks with you more.
Yeah. And what builds mental toughness is things like, saving up for something that you want rather than sticking on the credit card. And, like when you're going out for a run and there's a hill, and you couldn't go the flat way, but you think, actually, no, I'm going to go up the hill. It's about choosing to do things the difficult way sometimes.
Yeah. For me, yeah, because I'd run and I'd be like, what is hill? But I was like, okay, let's just take one step at a time. Let's breathe one bit at a time. And each step is a step. And before you know it, I'm not looking at the top of the hill. It's step. And before I know it, you're up there. But it's the same. Yeah, as you say, right. It's about saving up for the bigger thing, and, what do you have to say no to get yes for? So it is about sacrificing. Do you give up that hour of television in the evening to read? Or do you listen to motivational change it to YouTube, or whatever, go for the exercise, go for the yoga, meet your friend for a coffee, go on Zoom and do a Zoom call, whatever.
I'm a multitasker, so I'm usually watching the telly and doing the personal development at the same time. I'm watching the pictures of the telly and listening to the audio of the other. I'll do that quite a lot when I'm watching a football match or something. I watch a football match and I'll have personal development at the same time whilst doing weights.
You're just doing, you'll fall over one of these days.
They say us men can't multitask, but I'm doing it all the time.
Yeah, you're used to it.
Yeah, definitely. So I think, like anything else in life, if you practice makes perfect.
Yeah, and it's trying new things. It's saying, right, I can do this. But sometimes it's about having someone else there just to kind of guide you at the start, to get used to it, and know that there's people out there that can, and.
That's a nice plug for what you do, because obviously, there are people who've been there, done it, got the T-shirt, and ultimately, if you need help, then the best people to go to are the people who've been there, done it, got the T-shirt, and they haven't just learned what they know in a book, but they've learned it somewhere, applied it, and got the benefit of that applied knowledge.
Yeah, and it's like you can do all the textbook, but you need the experience as well. And I think people forget what skills and knowledge they have and experience. And if you were to write it all down, someone asked me to write mine all down 2 months ago. I'm still trying to write it all down, because I'm thinking, people surely know this or people surely know that. And we don't know everything. We just presume everyone, because we know something, everyone else knows what something is, but that's not the case at all. So we all have stuff we can share with people, you know.
Yeah,
It's just
that's the
believing
reason
in
I
yourself.
started my podcast. And when I first did my podcast, I called it Mike's Weekly Podcast because I thought I was going to do one episode a week. And then I realized I got way too much to say to do that. So now I'm doing about 10 a day.
You have to buy a new voice box on eBay soon.
Yeah, that's it. But no, but you forget how much you have learned, you know, and especially when you have done a lot. Like you've done a lot of change in careers and that. So have I. You know, once you've experienced a lot of life, then you have got a lot of practical knowledge, and not just from a book knowledge, which is why you can help coach and train other people. And that's the reason I coach people on sales and marketing and social media and entrepreneurialism, personal development, mental strength, health and well-being, all those areas, because I've been using most of those areas all my life, and the more you learn about stuff, the more you're able to teach others.
And I mean, I cover all those as well, but I wouldn't just do them in you just they kind of come as part of a flow of package or whatever, But I mean, even known learning styles, in school there was one learning style. You sat there, the teacher talked, you listened, you put your hand up, you put your hand down, you wrote, and then you had to learn it verbatim and do it for an exam, or but different learning styles, is different now. So you have to understand that as well, and because people,
like I prefer listening to audio books and reading, and it's the same. Some people you have to read the book or read the board in school, and actually, if you just stick some kids in front of the Wildlife Channel or the National Geographic or something, or the History Channel, or give them some audio, they'll learn 10 times more.
Or stick them out doing it, but that's the learning styles, and it's known that there's different learning styles. And I think that's what happens with school. People just believe that they're not intelligent or capable enough because the school system of learning, and it's probably changed now, I don't know, I'm not in school now, but there's still, there's that, you come out of school now, if we had done different learning styles, because I'm in university part-time at the moment, and we do cover it is covered, all the three different learning styles. The different learning styles are covered. So you have your notes. You can either print them off or you can write on them. They talk about the stuff, and we have the group discussions, and we interact and all that. And there's the practicalities of it as well. So you're covering all learning styles, because you can be a mixture of all of them. And some people can sit there and just listen straight away, and other people like to take notes, like myself. I like to take notes. Then I like to practice it, and then I like to talk it. And it takes longer, but then it's always stuck in your brain. And people have different learning styles, and people have different ways of reacting to things. So that's all part of the personal development as well. So
yeah, brilliant. All right then. Well, I'm conscious of taking too much of your time. It's been a fantastic chat, but I think we probably could carry that on for the rest of the evening.
The Welsh and the Irish love to talk.
Yes, we all do, but I'm conscious of not taking too much time. So I'm going to say thanks very much for coming on my podcast and for sharing some information about what you do and just personal development and life in general. How do people get in touch with you if they want to find out more about your coaching and that sort of thing?
My email address is Marion, MarionVgalvin @gmail.com. That'd be the easiest way to get me. I do have an Irish number and an English number, so I can be contacted in Ireland or England. And that's it. And thanks very much, Mike, for having me. And I'm sure I'll see you during the week on our Zoom call.
Yes, definitely will.
And have an awesome afternoon.
Yes, definitely will. Okay, brilliant. And there's nothing else left for me to say now other than have a great day. I know I will.
You too.
And thanks very much for listening.